Hey friends, I'm Andre Lewis, and we're here for another From the Text to the Table. And we're so excited today to talk about our marriage segment of From the Text to the Table. And we have with us the Carters, Pastor Bryan Carter and Stephanie Carter. We're so excited to have them.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And my lovely wife, Kim. Hey.
Hey, Kim.
What's up, girl?
I'm good.
Today, we're going to talk a little bit about this idea of marriage beyond the I do, marriage beyond the I do. And we'll kind of talk about this idea of marriage being sustained beyond the wedding day and kind of talking a little bit about the things that strengthen marriage through daily choices, daily activities, and how we connect with each other in the long haul of marriage, the intentional love that marriage is supposed to have. And so today, when we start talking about this idea of beyond the wedding, I want to ask just a few questions surrounding this particular segment, dealing with from admiration to reality, and what that really means as a couple kind of talks through who they are and what they're becoming together. When you think about this idea of marriage beyond admiration, what kind of comes to mind to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, thank y'all so much for having us, man. We've been great friends throughout the years.
Yes,
So it's a
sir.
real joy.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us at the conference and the time just to talk about the other side of ministry as we think about all the
Right,
different
right.
dynamics,
Yes.
parts of it. And so I guess the first thing I think about Gary Thomas in his book, A Sacred Marriage, who says that marriage is not about happiness, but holiness. And so I think that part of what marriage does is it helps. The first part of is that we're called to be like Christ, right? But part of how God shapes some of us is by using marriage as the space, right? The space where we learn how to serve and how to love and how to forgive and how to work through trials and how to carry each other. I mean, there is something about the institution of marriage that will shape you and change you in so many ways. You never know how selfish you are until you get married. I mean, you get married and all of a sudden it's like, listen, I want to do it my way, right? But that don't work. That doesn't work at all. So
That's correct.
I tried and it didn't work. I didn't work. But I think that's one element. I think about how the Lord uses marriage to really help shape us to become more like Christ and to follow him better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Stephanie, what do you think about that?
You know, I agree. I think about our first year of marriage, and it was just a nightmare. So just being honest, it was just a nightmare. And we both were just very selfish.
Yeah.
And some of us more selfish than others. But I think learning how to grow together, love together, pray together, worship together, and then just to accept that partner for who they are and so on. I think that sometimes that's a big mistake we make, is that we're trying to change Tyrone into Obama. And you married Tyrone. So you got to accept Tyrone and deal with that and compromise.
Yeah. You better call excuse me. So, I think that's really good because I think about, when Kim and I first met and just kind of talking through our first year of marriage, I think that selfish piece was a major piece that I think every couple has to somehow overcome. You mean I have to share everything?
Right.
You mean I have to tell you everything? You mean you have to be involved in everything? And so I think that's the hardest part, is really learning how, when it talks about the two should become one, we're so used to being individualized that it's really hard for us to understand the concept of being together and what togetherness really means. And so I know I was selfish. I mean, I had my days. And so.
Not days.
I guess I wouldn't think I was selfish,
My Lord.
but I did have to detox from what I was taught in the home. And so I think that was a big obstacle for me, detoxing from what I thought was right or my family thought was right.
Your mama. Talk about your mom. Yeah.
We love you, Mom.
Yeah.
But they were raised strong. They were strong. They were raised
That's
strong,
it.
black,
That's it.
independent.
That's
Don't
it.
depend on no man.
That's it. They were friends, right?
They were friends.
That's it. That's it.
Well, that's a good way to segue in. So how do you become or be strong, right? But also be together, right? because I think the challenge is always strong is individualized. It's be strong in yourself, not strong in a couple together. I think we learn that over time. One of the things that, catches my attention about this idea of admiration and growth and development, that first year marriage, one of the questions that I had was, what first caught your attention about your spouse? Yeah.
Oh, I'll
First
let you go
house.
first.
Let me go first. Let's see. She was fine, man. I
There
saw
it
her
is.
at that party.
There it is.
Kappa party, and I saw her. I got introduced to a mutual friend, and so first of all, she was fine. The second thing that attracted me, that was the first thing. The second thing, that she had conversation, that we could talk. She had goals. She had a vision. She was already headed that direction. That's what I always want. I called it the total package.
Okay.
I always
Okay,
wanted
okay.
somebody that was attractive, but also knew where they were going,
Yeah.
was strong. I think the strong part I wasn't quite prepared for.
Yeah.
However, it was on my list
It's
of
on
what
your
I
list.
wanted.
It's on your list. It's on your
It's on
list.
my list. But then when I got it, so I had to make adjustments. But I always admired. That's what attracted me. And then just fun, and you know what I mean, and good friendship, all those. I remember the meeting, first time we met. Remember the first conversation, we talked for like 2 hours. And so those things I think I always was treasure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, sweetie.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it was just, we met in college. So we met like our sophomore year of college.
Okay.
And so I was kind of in a stage where I was like, I'm not going to meet anybody. I'm just going to focus on the Lord and my studies.
Yeah.
And went to this party, and there he was. And we had some really sweet friends who introduced us. And I remember just him having conversation, which was kind of rare.
Yeah.
And he had goals. So I remember like when people were asking me about, who are you talking to right now? I was like, oh, I'm talking to this guy from Oklahoma State, because I went to University of Oklahoma. So that's like an hour and a half away. And, this is before social media. I don't know if we had been together if we had social media. But so yeah, he had goals. And when he said he was going to do something, he did it.
Yeah.
And then like even he also listened to me. And so that meant a lot, because some guys would just they just didn't listen.
Yeah.
And the first example was our first date. And so we went to Olive Garden. So to go to the Olive Garden in college, that was huge for us. I mean, that was huge.
Yeah.
And I remember, I blame my mother for this, but she always had me feeling like I was about to get kidnapped or something. So there's an Olive Garden in Norman where OU is, but then there's another Olive Garden in Oklahoma City. And so he was driving. When he drove past it, I was like, oh my goodness, this could go down right now. But he was like, well, I was driving to Oklahoma City because we could talk more.
Yeah.
And then even after dinner, he had the waitress bring me like yellow roses, which meant like friendship. And like yellow to this day is like my favorite color, my favorite rose. And the last thing he did that I was like, oh my gosh, this guy hears me and he sees me, is we had talked about things that we like to do. I was good with dinner. The fact that he was going to pay for this good Olive Garden meal with my salad and my little chicken parmesan. But then he was like, hey, what do you want to do after this? I remember you said you like to either ice skate or you want to go, we can go do miniature golf. And I kept feeling like, really, Lord? Okay.
Yeah.
He might get a second date.
Okay.
So yeah.
Kim, come on, tell the story.
Well, for us, it's a little different. We've been friends since we were 16. And so we met in summer school. And he was real smart in math. He was in the class because his hours didn't transfer from Boston. And so I was in there because geometry wasn't so easy for me. And so I remember saying to him, if you help me with geometry, I'll give you a ride home.
Oh.
Because look, it wasn't even my car. My friend had the car. But, just after us knowing each other for a while, then I, proposed that. And then we just stayed friends. And then I found myself talking to him all the time. He was real kind. I tell our sons, I said, your daddy always has been like he is now. We go to McDonald's. He said, go on, supersize your fries. And so we just were really good friends. And then I found myself hanging with him more and more, calling, what you doing? What you doing? You know. And so the rest was kind of
History.
history.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We hung out every day in the summer,
Wow.
going to a place in Houston called Celebration Station.
Oh, I remember Celebration Station.
We went
Yeah.
to Celebration Station from 12 o'clock till
Yep.
10 o'clock when they closed
Yeah.
every day.
Every
To the
day.
point
Oh,
where
my
the managers started questioning us
Question us.
about were we rich kids.
Mhm.
And we stayed there and we were not.
Yeah.
And we stayed at Celebration Station. We hung out together pretty much the whole entire summer. And then we
That's
ended up
cool.
talking a lot. And one of the things I think that kind of caught my attention about her was not just being kind. I think it was just the intentional development of a relationship.
Yeah,
And she's a talker.
Yeah.
And I like that, the ability to be able to talk and just talk about anything. And she was non-judgmental. And so I really appreciated that. I think those things help build a relationship.
Absolutely.
Is when people are intentional. What I hear from both stories is that both of us were intentional. You were a little bit more suave than I was, but
He was Mr. Slow Jam taper.
slow down. Oh, slow down. When did you know that Bryan was the guy? When did that hit you?
Ooh. You know what?
First date. Soon as I
Nah.
no.
My parent, you know what? We met in February.
Okay.
And then he met my parents, either late May or early June before he went to an internship in DC. And so I live in, at that time we lived in Fort Worth. And so my parents are like the host with the most, but that evening they were really sad and they were kind of rude. And he even said it too. He's like, man, your parents are
A little icy. A little icy.
but my parents were icy. They told me later, they said, we knew that you were going to marry him.
That was 2 months after we met.
Yeah. They knew because
knew.
they said I had never brought a boy home.
Oh,
That's it.
And like they came, at OU, they came for like parents weekend. I remember I was kind of talking to someone and they were like, oh, aren't you talking? Are we going to meet him? I was like, he's not worth, it's not worth meeting. And I remember my mom was kind of like, you don't date just to date.
yeah.
And
that's right.
so yeah, they were sad because they knew like
They knew he was
He
going
was
to
the
take
one-
you away.
he was take you away.
Take you away.
That's it.
I'm
all right.
When did you know I was the one? I mean, like,
I think we had started hanging out, and then I was like, this is going way too fast. You know what I mean? This is going too fast. So you remember I told you, I said, Andre, you stay away this weekend and we're just not gonna
almost lost me.
hang out. We're not gonna hang out this weekend. And let me just think, And then I remember calling you like that morning. Hey, what you doing? We going to a party. I want you to come go with me. And so then it was like, I don't want to hang out without him. You know what I mean? And so I think that's when I started accepting, like, okay, he's my friend, but I'm starting to have feelings.
Oh.
Start having a little feeling.
I did.
Feelings.
So Bryan, tell me what made you pursue at the rate you pursued Stephanie?
Because he knew he couldn't get nothing better. He knew. He knew. I'd seen him. Oklahoma State wasn't producing nothing. So sorry for the shade, Oklahoma State.
The weird thing about it is that I wanted to get married. That's a weird thing. My brother, I'm the baby of 3. So my brothers are 9, 11 years older than I.
Okay.
They one married, his high school sweetheart. The other one married kind of a college sweetheart, but still early. They both married in their 20s. And so for me, and my mom and dad had been married 30, 40 years at the time.
Yeah.
So for me, marriage was just the thing. It was like that was the goal. So I got to college and I said, man, I was looking for
He was living
I
fast.
was looking all around, man. I was like, I'm searching for you. I'm trying to find you. And after that search, man, I said, man, I gotta, this ain't gonna work. Being outside, that just ain't gonna work for me.
Yeah.
So I started turning my attention and really trying to find somebody. because I was like, man, this ain't gonna work. I can't do this. I can't live out here. So, so I started looking, and then a mutual friend said, hey, somebody who you ought to meet.
Okay.
But I was just looking for somebody. I'm looking for something consistent.
Yeah.
Because that thing,
That's
you
it.
know, that fraternity life and
That's
all
it.
that stuff,
That's
that wasn't go.
That's it,
I was a
yeah.
preacher, and it just
Yeah.
wasn't gonna work. So I
Yeah.
said, man, I really need to get focused.
You have to reel it in.
I said, Lord, you need to send me
Yeah.
somebody.
That's it.
And so,
That's it.
man, sophomore year, man, he sent me
He sent you
somebody, and I was
somebody.
like, man, because I just in my heart, I said, man, I need somebody, right?
Yeah.
And so he sent somebody, and so that meant that I was actually looking for somebody to get serious with.
Yeah.
Right. I just hadn't, and so when we met then, it kind of that's why the relationship I think kind of moved the rate that it did. That we dated for 2 years and we got engaged.
Okay.
And we're engaged for 2 years and we finally got married, but we both kind of met each other at a point where we really were looking for something
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pursued Kim because I think she was different, right? One of the things I think for me is I didn't want what everybody else had.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it was important to me not to pursue someone that was in the streets,
Yeah.
doing certain things, and she prided herself
Yeah.
on being different from our friend group.
Yeah.
Right. And so there were no bad stories.
Yeah.
Right. And
Absolutely.
so I think every brother wants somebody who don't have no bad stories.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Y'all be doing the background.
yeah, I mean, yeah. So I really, it really stuck out to me that she did her very best to kind of live in a way that no one would have anything negative to say about who
Absolutely.
she was or who she dated.
Absolutely.
And those things stuck out to me. When we talk about pursuit, let's talk a little bit. Now we're married. Everybody's married. We've been pursued. We done went to Olive Garden. We done went to Celebration Station. Right.
Yeah.
What picture of marriage did you have before your wedding day? Kim, start with you first.
To be honest,
Tell the truth.
yeah, this is tough. But I don't think I really had an image. I don't think I had an expectation, only because unfortunately what I had seen didn't really go so well. So I really don't think I had this great big expectation of marriage. I mean, it was just like I married my friend and we're gonna have fun.
Okay.
That's pretty much what I
Aw,
thought,
yeah.
you know.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted Little House on the Prairie. I wanted everything to be or the Huxtables, right?
Yeah.
I wanted everything to just kind of line up. I'm not a 1, 5, 10, 20 guy. I'm a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 person.
Yeah.
And I don't do well when things are not lining up for me. And so for me, I think I wanted everything to kind of match what I saw marriage as being.
Yeah.
And the best marriage I saw was the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw anything better than that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I thought marriage was supposed to be. You know, the husband comes home, you laugh, you joke with your wife, and the kids come in and they have little troubles here and there, but you work through them as a family, and you know, you don't have no drama. And that's not what marriage is.
No.
But that's what I thought it was going to be when we got together. What about you guys? What did you think?
I had the same viewpoint. I just saw the Huxtables and Whitley and Dwayne on
Yeah.
a different world. That's what I kind of thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I also have a similar, like, I just didn't see that modeled in my family. And I had to look at different people. Like, so whether it was a coach or whether it was a teacher or whether it was like my uncle or just different marriages, and I just kind of picked little things. I took little things from each of those marriages, and that's what I was kind of like, that's what I want my marriage to look like, or that's what I want my husband to kind of treat me, and so on. But yeah, they were great examples because I think the first year, that's what made the first year so hard. I was trying a little bit of what I saw my parents. But then that's why premarital counseling is so important, because one thing that came out in premarital counseling, I knew that we both cannot have two demanding jobs.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be present. And that was something that I saw modeled in my parents' marriage, and that's probably why they're divorced, is that they both led separate lives. They both were pursuing their dreams without trying to pursue together.
Yeah.
No doubt. I think in culture, I think when I thought about marriage, I thought, I mean, my parents, I saw their marriage, and when I thought marriage, I really thought like I'm the head, like, and I just tell her what to do.
Mhm.
And then I just thought like
That did not work.
I thought my picture was that she would cook every day, and
My
I'd sit in the living room, and my TV table would
Leave it to
just
Beaver.
pop up on
Leave it
that
to
table.
Beaver.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
that's what he
Lemonade,
saw.
flying. I mean, so I had this vision of just me doing my thing, and she right there,
Yeah.
you know, to kind of help me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't the best vision, because it really was about me as opposed to us, right? Because I didn't really fully understand, but that was kind of my vision, was that I do my thing, and then she right there with me,
Yeah.
right? But it was kind of a little chauvinistic, right? It
Yeah.
was it was a little
Was it a little?
patriarchal.
Was it a little?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah. Let's do what I say, right? Yeah.
It wasn't the healthiest view, but it was
Yeah.
it's just kind of self-serving. It was kind of
Self-serving,
view. That's
yeah.
how I do. I just said, hey,
Yeah.
I need a woman in my life.
That's
and we'll
it.
figure it out together.
We'll figure it out.
That's kind of how.
You know, one of the things I think comes up too is after you get married, you go through the process of getting married, and then all of a sudden, everything you think is going to happen gets shattered in the first few years,
Yeah.
right? What disagreement, if you can share it, that happened that made you realize we are not the same? Yeah, we ain't the same. So we gonna have to work on this. Go on, I know you got it. Come on
I
here.
really don't. I think the first major disagreement we had, I'm gonna say, that change that I had saved
Oh
up.
yeah.
So I have always been a saver, and I was taught you have little, you save little. You have big, you save big. So I saved
No, don't end it there.
all kind of stuff. So I had a
Uh-huh.
bag of change, and it was like a gift bag, and it was almost full of change. And I came home, and my bag was empty because he used it
Sure did.
to, to buy something, and I was devastated. I was just devastated because it's mine.
What did Pastor buy?
He bought some shoes for the kids. They needed some
Oh,
shoes.
okay. I was about to say, it better not been for you.
No, it was some shoes. It was some shoes. It was some shoes. It was some shoes for our older kids, and I was just like, why? I don't know. I mean, and it could have been selfish on me to be upset about it, but that was just like, that was my money that I put in. At least you could have talked to me about it. And then we had to come up with some boundaries and some rules for
Money.
money.
Your money. In particular. Your money. In particular.
I learned.
Yeah, that was the biggest argument I think we had for me was I was taught, I'm the firstborn. So on my dad's side and my mother's side. So I was taught to be a giver.
Yeah.
I don't know how to be selfish in that regard. I was always taught to just give. On the other hand, my lovely wife was not taught that. So for me,
Now wait a minute. Now we give.
We give, but he has an unusual giving. He's an overgiver. He's an overgiver. Like, yeah. Come on now.
She said I overgive. I don't care about money like people do. Money to me is a tool. And so for me, I will give it freely, right? She never agreed with that. So the biggest argument we had was just the fact that I think she was taught to and you ready for this? The biggest one we had was her mom taught her to always keep a little penny for herself.
That's right.
And I felt that was just so selfish, and it was trickery behind that. I just felt like, how could we be a couple?
Trickery.
And you hiding money from me.
It wasn't hiding. He was just putting it up.
That was a problem for me. And I'm like, I'm exposing all of who I am, and you have this little hidden gem sitting on the side. That like really did something to me for a while. It messed me up for a minute. It took us a while to work through the idea of what's yours is mine and what's mine is yours, not the other way around. And so that was the biggest argument for me that we had. Yeah. What about you?
That's good. I'll let you go first. Just see what you're gonna say.
Oh my goodness.
So
that thing is it's shattering. You have this image of marriage, as you mentioned, And it doesn't take long for that thing to come crumbling down. And I already told you kind of my image of marriage was me to really say whatever I want to say. And then she kind of, jumps in and just kind of does it. Right. And so for us, it was just that none of that happened. Like I would say stuff and it was just nothing. And it just nothing. nothing. And so this image of me being this head that tells her what to do, that thing didn't work. So whether it was, I didn't know how to treat her properly.
Yeah.
I failed in terms of just loving her and serving her. It was more about, okay, me trying to decide stuff for us. So the simple thing, like one time we went to church and I wanted to go back to the evening.
I knew you'd bring this one.
I ain't going. I said, wait a minute. We going back to church. She said, no, I am not. You can't make me. So, I mean, this is so whether it was church, whether it was finances and money, it was just this ongoing thing of me thinking I'm supposed to tell her what to do. That she was like, no, I don't care what you say, right? I mean, it was, and so I
Don't
had
do
to
that, ladies. Don't be disrespectful like that.
So I had to really learn how to connect, collaborate, work together.
Absolutely.
Because that first year it was me, just trying, and then I was messing up the money, and so it was like, I got it.
Yeah.
Card don't go through, right? You got it, all right?
And it's not like it's off by like a couple of cents.
Yeah.
We not
Billion nigga.
And if you're like, I'm like, and I'll be looking at him like, so you the head, right?
So that was
You over the money, right?
that thing. After a couple years was rough. Some rough
was
times.
rough. Yeah, it was rough. Stephanie, what's your thoughts on that?
I would say the church thing, his commitment to church was, yes. I mean, I'm not like a heathen, but I just kept feeling like we've been at service and we live like 45 minutes away and we were school teachers. So I taught third grade and he taught middle school.
Okay.
So Sunday as a teacher, if you ask any educator, they use Sunday as kind of like, all right, it's a rest. All right, let me look over my lesson plans and so on. And he was like, all right, we're going to go back to service this evening. I was like, no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I remember I was
In
sitting
the closet on the floor.
sitting in the closet on my floor. And I think I don't know why I was in the closet. I don't know if I was putting on my shoes. I don't know what I was doing, but I was like, I'm not going. He's like, I never thought I would have to fight my wife
To go to church.
And that's like, well, today it is. I am tired, Bryan. We're not going back. And I'm not going. And did we go?
I went. I don't know.
You know he went.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
but I think the one thing we did have to learn how to do, like we fought a lot. And one thing I had to learn how to do was how to meet him and how to not be so strong.
Yeah.
And listen, my family knew I was too strong. Like my aunts and my great aunts, like I remember when they met Bryan, they said, now listen, you're gonna have to bring that down because we know you can be. And I was like, what? Me? And they're like, and so my middle name is Renee, and they're like, listen, Stephanie Renee, he's a nice boy. You're gonna have to bring that down. I was like, okay. But learning how to do that without feeling like you're losing yourself, because that's the devil trying to tell you, like,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
keep being strong, don't compromise, don't collaborate.
Yeah.
So
That brings us to time. I'm glad you segued perfectly. What expectations had to die in order for your marriage to grow? Right? Things that we expected, things that had to happen. Kim, I'm gonna start with you again, and I got a whole lot to say, but I just want to hear what you say first. Yeah.
So say it again. What
expectations had to die for the marriage to grow?
I believe I would have to say I had to stop thinking you were perfect and not gonna make any mistakes. Because for a while I just felt like he can do it. He always has this positive attitude, very confident. So if he did make a mistake, I was ready to just put it on the 6 o'clock news.
My Lord.
And so I had to learn, like, he's human. He's not gonna get it all perfect. He's not gonna get it all right, and to stop being so
What was that? I think with that statement, I think I had to learn not to be upset with her judgment of my character or the things I did. And I think for the marriage to grow, because I started seeing her as judge rather than wife. And I think a lot of times that creates its own level of frustration, because she saw me as the man of God, loved God, da 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 da. And so I think, if I could speak for you and me at the same time, can I do that, please? Thank you so much. God bless you. And I think what I felt like she was judging me here when I really just needed her to understand. And I think it caused a whole lot of frustration for me. And I had to learn how to let that expectation go and just kind of realize that she's who she is and I'm who I am.
Absolutely.
And we had to learn how to start talking through those things. Yeah.
That's good.
Things can slow down too.
And-
that helped. That helped for you to slow down
Yeah.
and communicate.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I would just do stuff
because he would just do it,
and bring home a whole new car, and she'd be like, bruh.
or just be sitting down watching TV and somebody ring the doorbell. Hey, we're here to paint the house. What?
My goodness.
I was hard, man.
Yes. Hey, you need to pick a color. The man gonna be there in an hour. Just
I was bad,
Pastor.
man.
Yes. So yes.
So, how about you guys? What do you think there? What expectation had to die so your marriage could grow?
I think for me, my pride
Mm.
and not having to win. Because he
Okay.
would tease me and say, it's not a contest. And I'm like, it is. It's always a contest.
Highly
So-
competitive.
Oh man.
So pride had to die, and then also just trusting him. And so letting him lead. So he was over our finances in the beginning. And he was dying a horrible death with our finances. I mean, God bless him.
Yes.
Every once in a while, he still will slip up. Like our water will be off. And I'll be
Right.
like, hey, man. And I'm serious, like recently.
Not
Nope.
recently. not, not like last week. Not like,
Not recently.
like 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
that's so funny.
We really
It
could be
slipped through.
cousins. I'm listening to this story.
It slipped through, brother. I
And
just
then he lied.
Oh
that was
Lord.
the first time. First time I lied. I don't lie no more.
See, how you know it
First
happens
time.
a
So
lot.
every 4 or 5 years, it just something slips
You
through.
got
Just-
busy. You got
Oh,
It's a
man.
busy schedule. I want to give everything to her.
Yeah.
I really don't want to do it. She's like, no, let's do it together.
Yeah.
And that's what changed.
Yeah, that's
Instead
what
of
changed.
being so critical of him and being like, come on, you supposed to be,
right.
it turned into, I just kind of felt like God was saying, okay, instead of just criticizing, this is just really, truly not working for y'all.
Right.
Why don't you try another approach? And my approach was, let's do it together.
Yeah.
But let's do it together, but not me teasing you or kind of making fun of you like, okay, let's do it together. But
Right.
no, babe, you can do this.
Sincerely.
I think
Yeah.
this can work together if we, have a meeting or if we meet or just
Yeah.
discuss and so
Yeah.
on.
Mhm.
Yeah. Man, we sound so alike on that, man. We got a lot to say on that. Yeah.
So things happen.
Yeah, things happen.
Things
See,
happen.
wasn't just me.
They do.
What are your thoughts there, Bryan?
Man, I think I was thinking. I think I don't know, man. I think y'all may have mentioned it earlier. I think the expectation of perfection, the expectation of you know, I think you have to let each other grow,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And let each other make mistakes
That's
and
right.
let each other and just to be honest, right? The expectation of who the person is, right? We are pretty different people. And so if I'm not careful, I'll put expectations upon her based on what I saw in my home, based on what I saw in my mom, based on what I saw women in my life. And so I will try to recreate in her and put expectations on her that don't fit.
Right.
And so having to let die any kind of conception or misconception about what a woman is to be. I have to celebrate her and honor her and love her for her. And so letting all that other stuff die, it changed, right?
Yeah.
So I have to celebrate her gifts and her passions and her calling and her dream and her ambitions. And so a lot of other stuff died, right? So I can't, so I had to let, those are things I had to let die so that she could be who she is and not me trying to compare her or trying to make her cook and then make her do the kids and then let her say, all these kind of misconceptions about women and their gifts and talents and abilities.
It's a little hard.
That's good. Yeah. I was thinking about to do our time together justice. I do think I want to touch a little bit on that finance piece because I think, we all know that's always like a big deal with marriage couples. And, I think about your story that's so similar to ours is that even though she kept money aside and I didn't know about it, so she always had rainy day money. And one of the things that I wanted to lead because I thought it was what I was supposed to do, right? And I didn't do well with the money when we first got started. And so she would get irritated and get upset, but she always had her own money at the side. And then we got to a season where we split the money. She was like, you know what? You keep your money and I'm gonna keep mine and we're gonna pay the bills separate. That like just broke my heart. And then you broke my heart. And then there was a season when she actually made a shift, and I don't know what actually happened, but I started working at the church and then we made a shift and I think I started making a little bit more money, and then she started releasing stuff to me a little bit at a time. And it was like peace way. You paid the note on time for a month, so let's try it the next month. And so she led by showing me and giving me more responsibility. I think at one time I felt some kind of way about that, but over time I realized that she had to learn how to trust me again.
Yeah.
Because I kept on saying it was one thing and then it was something else. And then she hated being embarrassed at the cash register.
That's right.
And that embarrassment, I would get the phone call and I'd be like, well, I thought I told you. You're lying. Click.
That's right.
That would be the end of the conversation.
Man, God.
Yeah. So I learned over time to be extremely honest about it. And then over time, she relinquished the bills to me over time, and now she don't ask me even about a bill today. Yeah, I mean, the last 12 years, I don't think she asked about how the lights get paid or nothing.
I think I asked, but because it was some kind of efficient something I saw on the commercial, and I asked.
What made me go there is because I think looking back, what are you thankful that God didn't let go your way? What are you thankful that God didn't let go your way? Yeah.
Oh, you should answer this one. Because I know what you should say.
Yeah. All right. No. What should you say? Yeah.
Let me see what you're going to say.
Go ahead. You go. You got the answer. I went first last time. You got the answer.
No. I got the answer for what you're going to say. Okay. So.
What am I thankful that God didn't let go my way?
Yes.
Our way.
We don't live in Oklahoma City.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's
we
real.
fought hard for it.
You fought hard?
That was our biggest fight.
Wow.
That's one of our early ones.
That's before we were married.
It really is the Lord's doing. I wanted to. I had a vision. I grew up in the city. I think I had a church there. And so in my eyes, I always wanted to stay in that city. I felt like I had relationships and connections. I really felt like I could make a difference, right? At the time, I wanted to be a principal, a teacher, and with the church thing, I felt like that thing was going to be a real opportunity to really have an impact. So I felt like that was my sweet spot.
Yeah.
And the only reason we moved, she didn't want to live there. That was one reason. But that wasn't the only reason. The other reason that we moved was I really had some conflict with my dad.
Okay.
And it was a really tough spot. And so I knew if I stayed, it just was gonna be really, really hard on them, us, our marriage. This was gonna be really, really tough. Small family church. And so out of that, I just realized, man, we got to make a move, right? Her father also had cancer at the time. So we just thought, man, this was all these things. And then even the pay with both teachers would have made like 21.
Yeah.
They paid another 5 to 10K above. So it just felt like everything was pushing us that direction.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy decision to make because if it wasn't me, I would have stayed because I felt like I had something to work with there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moved to Dallas, which is a little fish in a big fish bowl. And I'm like, man, I don't want to move there, but we did it. And so she's correct, right? In terms of our lives, had we stayed, our life would have been different, right? In some degree, as opposed to stepping out on faith and moving to Dallas and really taking on a new opportunity. But really having to build new networks, new friendships, new relationships, new everything, right? And so that was something that she's right. That was really a moment that we had to work through that was really hard on both of us. That ended up, now looking back, we can feel how God was working through all of that.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah, because we had a hard time. My parents didn't like her. And so it was just, that would have been a rough. So that would have been a rough. That would have been a rough. It would have been a rough go, man. We would have pressed through. The church together, and I mean that thing would have been tough.
It would have been tough.
Yeah. So the space helped.
We glad you went to Dallas, man.
Listen, man.
Yeah, so glad.
You glad you went to Dallas, man. But I'm gonna bounce back and forth. Kim, and then Stephanie.
I think it would be you coming to New Faith.
My Lord.
I was terrified for that change. And I was terrified. I was 7 months pregnant. I was so scared. And so when he was trying to talk to me about it, I was like, you sure? you sure? You think this is what we supposed to do? So I think I'm really glad that he didn't listen to me, or you didn't. My prayers weren't answered.
And those tears.
Those tears. But I was pregnant too, so tears kind of come with that. But
yeah,
that was a major moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
your thoughts on just things that you looking back, what are you thankful that God didn't let go your way?
Ooh, probably how I talked to him. I'm thinking about our first big fight of where we were going to live. I think back to my mom. My mom is strong, but she's also a great prayer warrior. And she just taught me how to pray. And in that situation, I remember she was like, we were engaged. We're probably less than a year about to get married. And she was like, where are y'all planning to live? And I was like, oh, I don't care anywhere but here. And she was like, does he know you don't want to live there? And I said, yes. And she was like, I don't even know why I asked you that. But then it was, she was like, Stephanie, have you talked to him about it? No, she was like, have you prayed about it? And I was like, yeah, I've prayed about it. And she's like, well, how are you praying for him? And so I was like, help this fool to realize that we don't. And she's like, you cannot pray like that. You have to pray for the future father he's going to be, the future husband he's going to be, the future leader he's going to be. And then she was like, I don't want you to mention it to him anymore. I just want you to trust God and leave it there. And that was like super hard because that's what I relied on. I relied on my conversation. I relied on my tongue to get me out of. Yeah. So that she told me to do that it was probably like in August when we had this conversation, and didn't say anything. And this is after his dad had done this sermon. He left this part out. His dad did a whole sermon on like on me, like what my role or how I should show up. Because the church only had like 6 people, including us. And on a good day.
She don't count right. Preachers, they count by 3. So, she don't know how to count as a pastor.
6.
Oh, man.
So he had done the sermon, and it was just.
It was about the passage on women don't wear pants in the church.
You traditional Baptist.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
But he knew my rotation. So, as a college student, you have your rotation. So he knew what Sunday I was going to wear those pants. And that's the Sunday he did
We didn't know the rules. I bought the pantsuit. I didn't know. Wow. Somebody should have told me.
Oh, man.
From the Get Limited. But so fast forward, that's in August. My mom tells me to pray. Then in January, they have a church meeting. This is like 6 months before we're about to get married. Wow. they have a church meeting, and I haven't said anything. And he and his dad, because I kept feeling like my prayer would be, you know, Lord, reveal where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So this church meeting didn't go well. For time's sake, it just didn't go well. I can't go into it. But then spring break comes. I don't say anything. I don't say, I told you so. I told you this is how it's going to be. Spring break comes, and he's like, hey, Stephanie, what are you doing for spring break? You have to go do wedding stuff. We need to, because if you're not busy, we need to go to San Marcos, which had like the largest teacher fair. And so now I did slip up here. I said, what do you mean? I thought we were staying here. What do you mean we're going to San Marcos? And he was like, man, are you available or not? So we go to San Marcos, and then we start interviewing with
It's a
different
national teaching fair. So
national
it's
teaching
New
fair.
York, Chicago, Minneapolis,
Everywhere.
all over the country.
Yeah.
It's a one stop where you can go anywhere.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. So he was determined. This is how bad
I
he
was,
really-
I knew he'd give me clearance in January so I knew. So I was talking to everybody. I was like, we can go to New York, we can go to
like,
DC, we can go Minneapolis. I was determined.
Yeah.
I got clearance that it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And so I
It's time
knew
to go.
time
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
I think for me, it's back what Kim said. It was leaving my former church and going to New Faith, because what had happened was the rumors were that my current pastor emeritus was known for firing people. And the position that I was going for was a position that he frequently had been firing people. And so she was concerned because at the time she was in the beauty shop, she was doing hair in her mom's shop, and she was hearing all this stuff. And then I was hearing all this stuff. And I kept telling her the Lord was pulling me to go to New Faith Church. And she kept saying, well, you sure? And, you know, and you sure the Lord is calling? You could do such a great work here. And when I made the decision to leave, my former pastor cut our insurance while she was 7 months pregnant.
I'm
So it was like, see, you know, so I'm carrying the weight of that burden going to New Faith. And I was so concerned about what was going to happen, but I knew God was calling me. And of course, the rest is history. But I'm glad it didn't go the way, because I was actually leaning towards staying.
Yeah.
Because because of all of the things that I didn't know was going to happen. And so it was just good to know that I went forward and didn't listen to the tears or my own insecurities.
Yes.
And when it only went. Yeah.
That's good.
I think we've covered a lot. And I really do think that when we think about, you know, marriage as a whole, it's work.
Yeah.
And it's
Absolutely.
definitely work. And it's not just
Absolutely.
work as a couple, but it's work on the individual self.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that when we think about those challenges as a whole, one of the things, you know, some parting questions that I want to ask, and I'm trying to do this rapid fire. And so here are some parting questions, right? When did you first realize, for the ladies, when did you first realize that your spouse saw you?
Ooh,
That's good.
that's a good question.
Yeah. Like really saw you.
It's all you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really recall the first time you saw me, but I can appreciate the last several years. I feel very seen.
Oh.
I appreciate you being intentional about
I'm
seeing
finished out.
me,
I'm fin-
my strength and my weaknesses. So I the last couple of years you have been very intentional about seeing me.
Praise the Lord.
And I
everybody.
appreciate that.
Praise the Lord. Everybody.
Oh, that's super sweet. That's super sweet. For us, I think the first time I think he really saw me and he was concerned for me was when he became the senior pastor. And he was more concerned with my faith walk. And I remember him saying, hey, Stephanie, just go visit the different ministries and see where you feel comfortable.
Okay.
And then I remember when I came back to him, I was like, I really don't feel comfortable going into a ministry right now. I said, it's too many eyes. It's just, and I remember he was okay with me I went to Bible Study Fellowship, BSF.
Okay.
And it was on another, it was like, it was on another campus. They met during the day, and I was with these little cute little white women. But as long as I was growing, he was happy. But I love that he did not try and put me into a box. He basically was like, find your way, whatever you feel. And then I kind of agree. These last 10 years, because we've been married, we've been married 28 years.
Okay.
So I would say these last 10 to 15 years, I feel like he's really seen me and he hears me. I think in the beginning, those first 10 years with young children, and he tried to see me when they were young, but he would leave when it was dark and he would come home when it was dark. So I would have to give him like little reminders, but then also when I came home, I didn't feel like he saw me.
Yeah.
So having to really clearly communicate that with him, like I've sacrificed what I wanted to do in education as far as being a principal and so on. So you can do the senior pastor thing, because it goes back to what I saw as a child, that I did not want to have two. We both can't have two demands. Somebody has to be there.
That's right.
Somebody has to be there. So yeah, thank you for seeing me though. I appreciate you, because I mean it took a minute, but I appreciate it. Appreciate you, friend.
I think for the husbands, I think that there's a counter question, I think, and that is, when did you realize that you needed to see your spouse differently? And I'll start and I'll let you segue in, right? I think I started noticing that I needed to see Kim differently when I took on the assistant pastor role at the church. And I realized where the trajectory of the ministry was going and where I was going, that I needed to really see her differently for the contribution that she's made, just kind of watching over the kids. And, just for the podcast's sake, we've been married 26 years, and I was married before with 2 kids. So she took on 2 small children when we got married. And on top of that, having 2 with me, 2 boys. And so we have 3 boys and a daughter, and 32, 22, 19, and 28. So we are moving through this phase. And so I had to learn how to see her differently, because she had to make a lot of sacrifices in order for me to go back to school. And during that time, when I got to New Faith, I didn't have a bachelor's, a master's, or a doctorate. And I did all of that in 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
And did straight through, because that was the requirement for me to become the next pastor. So that meant that she had to show up when I couldn't show up. And so that forced me to see her a lot differently and recognize that she was a team player, and I wasn't doing it by myself. So I appreciate you.
Oh, you're a bad girl. How about that? You're up. You're a bad girl.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. No, I think the same. I think marriage, particularly for men, is a journey where the man is trying to figure out who he is and then who his wife is, and so I think identity, trying to find that. I think the more I found who I was, the better I could see her. I think when I didn't know who I was so busy chasing myself and trying to chase the work ministry and trying to chase success, that it becomes, at some point, you learn that's a deceptive picture, and know that I am a child of God. God loved me, my wife loved me. I can do anything. I don't have to find value or validation or affirmation from someone else. I really can find it here. And so I think as I begin to see myself, I begin to see you clearly, and begin to have a sense of how to value her and how to walk with her. But the early years, it was just trying to be a man as best I could, and then sometimes failing at that.
Yeah. As we close out this segment, first of all, let me just thank you guys again.
Thank you.
This has been
Thank you. This has been great. This has been so much fun.
I see so much, the lifestyles kind of almost that they're like right there with each other, right? One of the things I think is important about this particular segment is sometimes feeling love begins with truly feeling seen. And what would you say to couples who've been married one day over 60 days, 60 years about the idea of helping your spouse to feel seen as a demonstration of your love. What are some things you would give to a couple in your closing thoughts on how to help that person or their spouse feel seen by them as a demonstration of their love?
Yeah, I think one of the things we like to talk a lot about is the value of respect in a relationship. That when you respect your partner, it really revolves around a couple things. You got to First of all, you got to respect yourself. If you don't value yourself, there's no way you're going to value your partner at all, right? You're going to, whatever those insecurities, inadequacies, you pour them into them. And then you sometimes think they're supposed to build you up, right? But when you know who you are in Christ and you got a security in Christ, that self-respect then leads you to be able to respect their value, which means it's Genesis 2 where they are, where it's how Adam receives Eve, is how they're both naked and unashamed. There is a value there, right? And so I think the self-respect leads to respecting your partner. And then not only respecting them for who they are and how God has wired them and how God has created them and the uniqueness about them, but then also even respecting their story, right? That we each bring a uniqueness. We have a unique family history, unique wounds, unique challenges, unique successes, but valuing that, not putting that down and saying your family crazy, my family are the good people, right? My family, I'm from here, you from there, right? It's respecting that. And the last part, I think, out of that value piece is respecting their voice. Absolutely. I mean, I think what happens is you value them, you celebrate them by really honoring their voice, honoring their opinion. What do you think about that? Do you think we should? Does that work for you? All of these things say, I see you. They say, I value you. When I just go and do what I'm going to do, it says, you know what? You may be there, but I'm not seeing you right now, right? So I think those are ways that we would say, hey, couples, whether you're early in marriage or whether you're in it 50 years, their habits of respecting their value and worth, respecting myself, and then respecting their story and their voice, their valuable ways to kind of build together, no matter the season you go through.
Absolutely. Yes. Stephanie, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say, I think the one thing that you have to realize is just kind of like what he said, your marriage is going to go through seasons. So whether you have children or you don't have children, that I feel like the war stage of them just being from 0 to 7, that's like that was such an intense stage. But then how do you show up for each other during that stage when it's so busy and you're both so exhausted, no matter what season you're in, but also keeping that connection? I feel like, our last child just graduated from high school, so he's getting ready to go off to school in a couple of weeks. And so people have been like, oh, bless your hearts, you guys going to be so sad. I mean, he's going to be really sad and devastated. He's going to cry. Y'all might have to check on him. But I feel like we have done the work where we've dated each other still, where we still have conversations and we have talk time. So it's not like after our son leaves, that will be two strangers in the home, because we've still continued to connect over these last 28 years. So no matter how tired we were, we still talked, we still had sex, made love, all those things. We still dated each other.
That's it.
Instead of just saying, it might not, like now we can date each other a little bit more because people are gone. But at least, it would be nice if you dated like once a week. But if some seasons, it might just be once a month.
That's right.
But that's okay. So just recognizing that and just keeping that consistency.
I guess just to know that seasons change and stay together.
Absolutely.
Seasons change and stay together.
Seasons change and stay together. Just remember that you're both on the same team. And you got to play the game to win together.
Absolutely.
Okay. Come on. Okay.
A
A little rap song too. A little rapping in there.
That's a t-shirt.
I think all of your statements were really good. I think for me, it's just really helping yourself to appreciate that we come from different walks of life, and everybody adds value.
Absolutely.
And when you recognize that your spouse adds value to your life, you can't help but see them. And I think for me, you know, just listening to the two couples, I think it's apparent that all of us feel like our spouses add value to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, friends, this has been another From the Text to the Table. We have had our marriage segment today, and we had a phenomenal time with my friend and my brother beloved, Pastor Bryan Carter, and his lovely wife, Stephanie Carter. We thank God for both of you. And then I had the love of my life, Kim Lewis, with us today. And certainly we had a wonderful time. And we pray that you listen to this segment and hear all of the wonderful things that we talked about in terms of marriage, how we say I do and live in that I do season. Again, I'm Andre Lewis, pastor of New Faith Church, From the Text to the Table, again with Pastor Bryan Carter and Lady Stephanie Carter and Lady Kimberly Lewis and Andre Lewis. Have a wonderful Wednesday. See you guys again soon.